Hello everybody and welcome, I am Bricker Boom, and today we're going to be doing a very rare team run on this particular channel. Though we covered it in the Chansey video, and thank y'all for that popping off, here's a brief coverage of how this lineup was decided. Recently, every video I started doing something called Safari Zone Scramble, which is where I go to the Safari Zone and just start chucking balls at whatever I come across. In that particular video, before I started recording, I decided that whatever we call it would be in an upcoming team run. If I catch a first form Mon, I can't evolve it. So here's our team: Venomoth, Nidorino, Parasect, Execute, a favorite, at least design-wise, of mine, Rhyhorn, and lastly Doduo. Having one fully evolved Pokemon that isn't that powerful, a middle stage Pokemon that isn't that powerful, and a slew of first stage Pokemon, well, I think we can beat the challenge, but I can see it being difficult. 3 of these Pokemon I've used in prior challenges, and while they're not the worst I've used, well, actually, Paris might be, actually. Anyway, let's take a look at the rules. We can only use the Pokemon that I stated earlier, though we can use other Pokemon for HM use. Items cannot be used in battle, though outside of battle is totally fine. I do allow rare candies rather than grinding for hours, though we do attempt every battle multiple times before inevitably going down that route. We give the rival Charmander. Given the fact that most of our Pokemon are going to be weak to fire types, this will probably be the hardest for us to face. We're also going to start the run with a Venomoth, because I already know a solo Paris run is inevitable, and I deserve to be at least a little happy for now, right? We have a Bashful nature for a Venomoth, which means neutral stat gains, and we have Shield Dust as an ability, which I suppose could be worse. With the opening rival fight, we're doing about 1/5 of damage. Thankfully, the beginning lab rival fight is pretty easy. Along the way through the beginning game stuff, we make sure to level up and fight any wild Pokemon along the way to get some levels and some much needed experience. We take out some bug Pokemon and then we go do the optional rival fight. Pidgey goes down to a few tackles, only hitting us with Gust a couple times. With Charmander, we try to be cheeky and use Supersonic, but given the fact that I believe it's got a 55% accuracy, it misses multiple times. Thankfully, we get a much-needed crit with Tackle, and that allows us to move forward onto the next portion of the game. By the time we get to Brock, we're level 17, mostly because we need more than just Tackle to get past the Junior Trainer. But at this level, a single Confusion takes the Geodude to red, as it uses Tackle, and after that it goes down. Next up is Onix, and we do a good chunk of damage, and Rock Tomb hits for solid damage. Even so, next turn we outspeed and manage to take it down, and that lets us move on. While we're going through the next route, grabbing a few of our Pokemon that we need, and of course grabbing the Dome Fossil, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and if you have any friends that like Pokemon, make sure to go ahead and nudge them this way. I always like hearing how people found out about the channel, and knowing that a friend may have recommended it to somebody, it'd make my heart happy. We're inching closer and closer to that first 1,000 in subscribers, and we just got over 2,000 watch hours for the first time. So seeing that type of growth, especially during the summer, has been super exciting. As we go through the cave, though, we do end up grabbing a Paris. Truthfully, I don't think we'll be using Paris too much because, look at its stats. I'm not even 100% sure if Paris would be able to finish a solo run in this particular game. I want to say that it can in Red, Blue, Yellow, given the fact that you have access to things like the Badge Boost glitch, but now that we don't have that, and there's also updated movesets with the gym leaders, the trainers, etc., I'm not sure if Paris can do it. If anybody's done it though, let me know in the comments, because I'm curious. Getting out of the cave, we have 2 choices, and truthfully, I don't think that Misty will go too well yet. Paris isn't great, so Swift will likely decimate us. Nidorino is decent at best, and the same could be said about Venomoth. And Venomoth's most powerful move, Start Me Resists, so we go ahead and go to the rival. With the rival, he sends out Pidgeotto, and we use Venomoth and open with Confusion, doing not quite half. Sand Attack connects, but so does our next Confusion, as it hits with a decent chip of damage with Gust. We miss, get hit again, before we take it down. Now, given the fact that we can actually switch out to avoid the accuracy drop, we swap to Nidorino. We open with double kick, taking it to not quite half as Ember connects. We can take it to red as we get embered again, and burnt, which cuts our attack. Even with the attack cut, we can still take it out with one more double kick. When Abra comes out, we swap to Paris so he can get a taste of victory for once. Then Abra goes down. We swap back to Nidorino for Rattata. It uses quick attack, leaving us with just a few HP as we take it to red and then succumb to the burn. Then we swap back to Paris, getting hit with a quick attack before taking it out. After that, it's time to head to the north and free Bill from his cosplay, and props to you if you happen to catch that reference. And then after that, we can head back to Misty and see how it goes. Misty starts with Staryu, and we open with Paris as he uses Harden, and we do a bit with Scratch. We swap over to Venomoth since it uses Special, and that'll bypass the Harden, getting hit with Water Pulse. We take it to red, and it uses Harden again, as Misty heals up. Confusion takes it to below half, and then knocks it out. Next up is Starmie, and we swap back to Paris, though admittedly, he does have a use this time around. We get hit with Swift and land a Poison Powder, which is basically the only reason we use it at this point. We use Leech Life, mostly hoping to stall out the Starmie a little bit, and we manage to take it all the way to red before Swift ends us. We swap over to Nidorino, and then the remaining chip damage from Poison knocks it out for a pretty simple victory. We can go ahead, after that, head south and hop into the TARDIS of a boat, since, it's bigger on the inside. We can go ahead and make sure to grab the few items that we need, and all too soon, it's time to fight the rival. Pidgeotto is first and naturally likes to kick some sand in our eyes. The problem with this is that Sand Attack makes this portion of the battle last far too long. By the time it goes down, we have 12 HP to our name. With Kadabra, we swap over to Paris, and Confusion does a bit of damage, but 2 Leech Lives are actually enough to take it out, and that lets it go into the next part of the battle with full health. With Charmeleon, we swap over to Nidorino and hit it with Horn Attack before it takes us down. We swap over to Venomoth and hit it with Confusion and confuse it as it only uses Growl. We hit it again to a Sliver, and it actually ends up knocking itself out. Raticate is last, and we swap back to Paris, getting hit and landing a Scratch. We get taken down to 19 HP and land a critical hit that was absolutely needed to take it down. And with that, Paris is already more useful than I thought it was going to be. We go ahead, give the captain a quick old back rub, and then after that, it's time to go fight Surge. And I spent, once again, far too long on the trash can puzzle, but Surge starts with Voltorb, and we open with Nidorino. Shockwave hits for a little, and Horn Attack hits it to almost half. Sonic Boom, of course, does that set damage, and we take it to red as Voltorb gets healed up. Horn Attack takes it to almost half, and Shockwave takes us to 17, and we get hit to red. It does swap over to Sonic Boom, taking us out before we swap to Paris, getting hit with Shockwave, and then knocking it out with Scratch. Pikachu is up next and begin using Double Team as we miss Poison Powder twice before finally connecting, but then Surge heals that immediately. After that, we just focus on scratching, thankfully taking it down, but getting paralyzed in the process. Raichu immediately opens up a Double Team, but we land Poison Powder. Shockwave isn't doing much, but we stay paralyzed for 2 turns, so we get taken down pretty easily. With that, we swap over to Venomoth, and Shockwave does nearly half as we do a little bit of chip damage. Shockwave takes us to 25 HP, and we take it down for a pretty sloppy battle. For the first time in a while we're traveling, I'm actually going to cover my thoughts of the run thus far. Right now, we have a team of 3. Paris, our sacrificial lamb, Venomoth, the psychic user, and then Nidorino, the wild card. Mostly just due to the fact that once we get access to TMs, it can learn quite a few. I hope that you're enjoying this team run, because this is the first time that I've actually done one that isn't a Nuzlocke. It's been fun not getting to evolve these guys, sticking with what I had caught before. Had I been able to evolve them, it probably would have been a very easy run. This allows us to have some fun, a little bit of challenge. Also, along the way to the next big battle, we make sure to go ahead and grab ourselves a duo. And with this particular Pokemon, I'm actually super excited to use it. It's one of my HM mules, and I've actually been thinking about doing another team run because whenever I play the game, I always have a set team. I have a Diglett for cut, I have a Doduo for fly, and then I have a Lapras for strength and surf. I kind of want to see if I can beat the game with just those three, but let me know if you think that'd be interesting. I don't know. Crime Lord takedown time. Onyx opens up with Rage, and we open with Paris and immediately poison it. Rage isn't doing much to us, but to be fair, Leech Life isn't really doing much to it. However, the fact that we gain some HP back and it spends a turn hardening just lets us whittle it down with our Poison and Leech Life, swapping over to Scratch. And that looks like it didn't even do 1 HP, but it does go down. Rhyhorn is next, and we immediately open with Poison Powder, and Stomp is doing some good damage. We swap back to Leech Life and gain a little bit of HP back. It uses Tail Whip so we can whittle it down a bit further, and then swap to Venomoth as we get hit with Fury Attack. We use Confusion, taking it to red as Scary Face lowers our speed, and the poison damage takes it to red, then takes it out. Kangaskhan is last, and we swap to Nidorino for the double kicks, and flinch immediately, then get taken to 2 HP, barely doing any damage before it too goes down. We swap over to Paris, and get immediately taken down. Then swap to Doduo, Bite makes us flinch, and then we fly, taking it to about half. Thankfully, for whatever reason, it just Tail Whips next turn, so we can continue to fly. Bite takes us to 5 HP, but since we don't flinch, we can nail it with another fly to take it down and win the battle. I'll say this as a spoiler alert, you'll notice a theme of sending out Pokemon to basically get knocked out. But hey, we have a gym battle to cover, and with this one, we actually have a distinct advantage. Erica sends Victory Bell out first, and we use Venomoth first, opening with Confusion, taking it to almost half as we unfortunately get Stun Spored. Acid isn't doing much at all, we can take it to a Sliver next turn. Erica heals up, and we use another Confusion to take it to half. Acid connects, and we take it back to red before finally taking it down. Tangela is next, and given our paralysis, we swap over to Doduo. We use Fly, avoiding Poison Powder, and take it out in one shot. Vileplume is last, and we swap over to Paris, then swap back to Doduo for some reason, getting put to sleep. Acid nails us with a critical hit, and we don't wake up in time to actually do much of anything. We swap over to Nidorino and use Peck, taking about a fifth of its health as we get paralyzed. Giga Drain does a small chip of damage, and we use Horn Attack. From there, it's basically just a bunch of us trading attacks back and forth, but eventually, we do take it down for the victory. With that battle out of the way, we can actually go ahead and head back to the tower and see how we do against the rival. Pidgeotto is first, and we open with Tri Attack, taking it to red as Sand Attack connects. We use Tri Attack again, taking it down. We swap over to Paris with Gyarados, 1 to get rid of the accuracy, and 2 to waste the Intimidate. Thrash hits hard, we miss Poison Powder, and then we go down next turn. Swapping back to Doduo, we use Tri Attack, taking it to a bit below half as Thrash hits hard, and the next turn we could take it down. Execute comes out, and we use Fly as it sets up Reflect, hitting it with a critical hit to knock it out. Kadabra's out, and we use Pursuit just to see how much we do. And with a crit, we do a decent bit of damage. Confusion crits us in return, though, and takes us out. So we swap over to Nidorino, outspeeding it and taking it out with Horn Attack. Charmeleon is up and will definitely be a bit of a problem for our team when it evolves, as you can tell by the pitiful amount of damage that we do. But then Reflect wears off, and we do a decent bit more as it just continues to pelt us with Smokescreen. Thankfully, we don't seem to get punished by this immediately, though we do get burnt, and then we miss. It can take us down a few turns later, but we can switch to Venomoth and be able to take it out. We have an entire tower to clear, a road of cycling, and a zone meant for safaris to go through, and normally we'd have some Safari Zone scramble to cover, but this time, we actually need to catch a few somethings for our team. So we actually spend the entirety of it grabbing an Execute and some Rhyhorns. Mostly because if I have the option to catch multiple ones like this, I'd at least like to go ahead and get a halfway decent nature. I don't need a special attacking Rhyhorn, and I don't need a physical attacking Execute. But then I also forget to record the footage for those things, so take a quick look at my kitty. Anyway, I promise next video we'll be back to our regularly scheduled broadcast, but in the meantime, accept my apologies by watching me battle Koga. Koga sends out coughing and we open with Paris, taking it to yellow, but getting wrecked by Sludge. We swap over to Venomoth as Koga heals up and we can take it down 2 turns later. When Muck is out, we aren't really doing much to it, and we can take it to red, but then Koga heals up, basically nullifying our work. It doesn't help that since it's spin time minimizing, we can't do much with this particular mon, so we swap over to our adamant-natured Rhydhorn and stomp our way to victory. With the poison damage, we're on a ticking time bomb, but we do manage to take the coughing below half before we succumb to the poison and the attacks. We swap to Doduo and use Tri-Attack, knocking it out, and last is Wheezing. We can take it to about half with 2 Tri-Attacks, but it does knock us out pretty quickly. We can swap to Nidorino and take it to what I have to imagine is 1 HP as it knocks us out. And then we swap over to our eggs, immediately getting sludged into oblivion, and you'll see I spend a lot of time on this screen because, I mean, what are the odds of getting that close to victory with a team run? The next battle basically goes about the same with a little bit better luck on our side. Execute and Paris being so slow is a bit of an issue, but I think that we'll be able to manage as time goes along. I've done a solo run with Execute, so I know its shortcomings, which, well, at this stage is everything, but we have the battle won, and with that we can head to Saffron. We do end up going through some of the trainers in the building, mostly to get access to the key card in the bed before going to the rival. Worst case scenario, if needed, there are plenty of trainers to level up against and some vitamins that can be found in the building. We also have enough money, because money is no object in this game, to go buy a few as well if needed. Pidgeot is first with the rival, and we open with Rock Blast on our Rhyhorn as Wing Attack does a little damage, Rock Blast taking it out thanks to the third one getting a critical hit. Execute is next, and we swap over to Doduo using Fly. Stun Spore misses, and we hit it to yellow, and then Stun Spore connects. We get hit with Confusion, and Pursuit doesn't quite take it down, so we swap to Tri-Attack, though we're almost out of HP. Alakazam is next, and just uses Future Sight twice. So even though we stay paralyzed for a turn, we can take it to red with the next, and then it uses Future Sight again, so it goes down. We don't switch when Gyarados comes out, 1, so we could take the Intimidate, and 2, we take the Future Sight. This way a fully healed Pokemon doesn't have to, so we go down. We swap to our eggs as it uses Leer, and then we use Leech Seed on it for passive HP, as Dragon Rage does its set damage. We miss Poison Powder, and Dragon Rage connects again, and we miss again. So with that, we abandon that strategy, get bit, and go down immediately. With that, we swap to Paris and put it to sleep, since Spore does have 100% accuracy. Slash takes the Gyarados to red, and it does wake up, but it only uses another Dragon Rage, so we can take it out. Charizard is next, and we get hit with Wing Attack, getting knocked out. So we swap back to Rhyhorn as Smokescreen lands, and we miss. Flamethrower does a lot of damage due to our poor special, but thankfully Rock Blast connects and hits hard, knocking it out in 3 hits, and that lets us win the battle. So with a quick heal up, we can go ahead and go fight Giovanni. Giovanni sends out Nidorino, and we open with Rhyhorn. We swap to Paris, taking the Horn Attack. We get hit with Poison Sting for pretty good damage and get poisoned, retaliating with Slash and taking about 1/4 of its health before going down. We swap over to Execute, and Horn Attack doesn't do much. Confusion takes it to yellow, and Poison Sting is still doing damage as we take it down. Nidoqueen is next, and we get hit hard with Body Slam, but since it doesn't paralyze us, we can attack for not very much damage. Thankfully, Double Kick doesn't do much to us, so we can attack with Confusion. Nidoqueen uses Tail Whip, so we can continue our onslaught. And then Nidoqueen uses Tail Whip again, so we attack again, taking it to red before Nidoqueen finally decides to finish us off. We send Venomoth out, and we can finish it off. Next is Rhyhorn, and we can take it to not quite half as Rock Blast obliterates us. We swap over to Nidorino, double kicking it. Scary Face misses, and then we can take it out a couple turns later. Last is Kangaskhan, and we get hit with Rage, using double kick and critting one of those hits. For whatever reason, it just begins to Tail Whip, because that's apparently his favorite move, and it just focuses on doing that, so we could take it down not long after. I don't know what's going on in this run. It seems to be a trend that the AI is just throwing because we have a full team. I don't know. Whenever I have one Pokemon, the AI is the smartest thing in the world, but when I have a team Pokemon and I know that it's already going to be somewhat easier, it just kind of gives up. I don't know. But anyway, on to Sabrina. Sabrina sends out Kadabra and it uses Calm Mind, and we use Rock Blast, and the second one crits to take it out. With Mr. Mime, we swap to Stomp as it uses Calm Mind, and we hit with another Stomp. Psybeam takes us to 6 HP, and then we can take it to Red as well. Sabrina heals up, and then we get knocked out with Psybeam. We swap to Doduo using Drill Peck and take it out. Venomoth is next, and we send out our own Venomoth to see who's the superior moth. Try saying that 5 times fast. We take it to half, and then we can take it to a sliver as we get knocked into the red as well. Sabrina heals up, and we can take it back to red, but get knocked out by Gust. Turns out, with items, Sabrina has the superior moth. We swap to our eggs and get hit with Leech Life, then knock it out. Alakazam is next, and we get hit with Psychic, knocking us out. And then it also knocks our Paris out. We swap back to Doduo, and it sets up Future Sight, Drill Peck taking it to yellow, as it uses Future Sight again before going down. Now, for whatever reason, I cannot even begin to think of or describe. I record the first battle against Blaine, where we lose. But for some reason, unless I accidentally moved it somewhere that I cannot find, which I never do, I don't record the winning attempt. Admittedly, I do have to level up, because for the most part, we're coming upon an issue that I mentioned at the very beginning of the video. We are very weak to fire attacks. So it takes some level ups and some vitamins, but we do end up winning. I just don't have the footage. So let's just go ahead and move on to Giovanni. Giovanni opens with Rhyhorn, and now that Paris knows Giga Drain, it's able to take down both of the Rhyhorn. When Nidoqueen is out, we can take a good portion of its health, but ultimately go down. We send out Nidorino and nail a Horn Attack and take it to red before Earthquake decimates us. We send out Doduo as Giovanni heals and we can take it out, though Nidoqueen wrecks our health in the meantime. Nidoking takes us out pretty easy and we swap to Execute and we can take it out in 2 Confusions. Dugtrio is able to knock us out, but not without getting taken pretty low health, and then Venomoth is able to finish it off. With that, that's 8 badges down, and we have one more battle before going into the Elite Four. The rival starts with Pidgeot and uses Feather Dance as we take it to not quite half with Rock Blast. We get hit with Wing Attack and then swap over to Nidorino, and while we land a hit, we do go down in 2 attacks. We swap over to Doduo and take it out, and then when Rhyhorn comes out, we swap to Paris and use Giga Drain to knock it out. Flamethrower from Charizard can take us to yellow, but thankfully, the stars align and Rock Blast connects to take it down. As Execute comes out, we swap to Doduo and we use Fly, taking it to red and getting Stun Spore before knocking it out. When Alakazam comes out, we can take it to yellow with Tri Attack before getting knocked out. We send out Execute and Leech Seed it before going down, and then finish it off with our God tier Paris. Last up is Gyarados, and the beast that is Paris apparently has a taste for blood, and is able to take it down after putting it to sleep and getting to wail on it for a few turns. So with that, we can go ahead and do a few things. The first is getting some vitamins for the team, making sure to give just as many as we can and can afford. We also go through and grab some TMs and update our moveset. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, but Lorelei is decimating us. And the thing is, the reason that I'm not covering it is because this is the first time in a while that I've written and recorded a team run, and as it stands right now, the recording just hit 27 minutes. Now, I know that I'm going to obviously end up trimming that down by a few minutes, but probably not by that much. Overall, though, we're decently tanky for physical moves, but when it comes to special moves, we're actually pretty frail overall. It takes a lot of theory crafting, a lot of attempts, and just kind of playing off our Pokemon's strengths and weaknesses, but unfortunately we do have to level up. Lorelei starts with Dugong, and Nidorino can take it out in 2 Thunderbolts, and then Cloyster is an easy one-shot. The Execute manages to get a Leech Seed off against the Slowbro before getting taken down. We swap over to Paris, taking it to yellow, and the Lorelei heals up. However, due to Giga Drains, we can take it down and actually be at full health as well. Jinx is up and we use Slash, taking it to half, getting taken down not long after. Jinx knocks out Rhyhorn and we swap to Doduo, taking it out with Tri-Attack. We do Tri-Attack the Lapras, taking it to not quite half and then get knocked out. We swap to Nidorino, taking it to low, and the Berry takes it from healing range, and then one final Thunderbolt wins the battle. Bruno time. Giga Drain takes out the first Onix, and we swap to Venomoth using Psychic to take out Hitmonchan in 2 hits. Next up is Machamp, and we can take it below half as Cross Chop hits hard. We can then go ahead and take it out. Bruno sends out Hitmonlee, and we take it to yellow as Bruno heals up, and then we take it to red before getting knocked out. Mega Kick hits the eggs hard, and we can take it out. And then we swap over to Paris, who takes out the final Onix. Now we go on to Agatha, and given the fact that we have some strong psychic moves, we should be alright. Agatha sends out Gengar and double teams twice, but we push past that and actually nail it with 2 attacks. With Arbok, we swap to Rhyhorn and a few Earthquakes do the trick from there. We swap over to Nidorino as Golbat is out, and a few Thunderbolts take it out. When Haunter is out, it uses Curse and Mean Look, and we can take it out not long after. For whatever reason I can't really think of, I don't switch when I very clearly should, and get taken out not too long after, but we can go ahead and swap over to Venomoth, take it to red as the Berry takes it out of healing range, and then we can just go ahead and knock it out and move on. Alright, I'm not feeling super confident going into this next battle, but let's see how we do against Lance. Lance starts with Gyarados, and we open up with Nidorino using Thunderbolt to take it to red. A few turns later, we can go ahead and take it down. Next up is Aerodactyl, and it hits us with a few wing attacks before we go down. So we swap over to Rhyhorn, and we tank a wing attack and knock it out with Iron Tail. With the Dragonair, we actually miss Iron Tail and get taken out not too long after. So we swap over to Doduo, and a Drill Peck knocks it out. After that, a Drill Peck takes the second one below half as we get hit with Thunder Wave, but then we do knock it out. The Dragonite comes out and misses Hyper Beam as we wail on it, and we do take it to red, but Lance heals up and then takes us out. We swap to Paris, hitting a Slash before 2 Outrages take us out. Next we go to Execute and take it down within a few turns, winning the battle. And that was a first try victory. Final rival time. The rival sends out Pidgeot, and we use Thunderbolt to take it to about half. The rival switches out to Rhydon, but we predict this, partly because this is our 4th attempt, and hit the Rhydon with Ice Beam as it comes out, taking it to about half and knock it out the next turn. When Alakazam is out, we send out Doduo, surviving a Psychic, but barely as we hit it with Drill Peck. The rival does waste a healing potion before knocking us out. The eggs can live a few hits and take it out, though we get wrecked in the meantime before we can take it out. As Gyarados comes out, it outspeeds us and takes us down. That's when we swap over to Nidorino and take it to red with Thunderbolt as it takes us to red, but then we take it out. The rival sends out Pidgeot and it finishes off our Nidorino. We swap over to Rhyhorn and get a hit with Wing Attack, but Rock Blast takes it out. With Exeggutor, we put it to sleep with Paris, then use Leech Life with Venomoth, and this does take a while because it starts using Egg Bomb, but we do end up taking it out. Last but not least is Charizard, and we can nail it with Psychic before going down, and then Paris can't outspeed it, so it goes down. We swap over to Rhyhorn, and thankfully, we live off of 50 HP with the Fire Attack, and land Rock Blast, and knock it out, and win the battle, and the run. That challenge was a lot of fun, and one that allowed for a wide variety of moves. One of these days, I'll have to do a Nuzlocke based off the same idea. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure what I'll be doing next week, but we'll probably get to work on that right when we finish editing this. But we've been doing YouTube polls, daily shorts, and still chatting it up in the Discord, so if you want to hang out outside of these videos, make sure to check it out. We have a lot of Pokemon lovers in the Discord, and the number is slowly creeping up in basically all aspects of everything that I'm doing, which is a great feeling. Once summer is over, I'm hoping to get ahead on these videos a bit since my kiddo will be back in school, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Either way, we still have a Patreon if you want to support me outside of YouTube and Twitch. And for a final thing, what are y'all doing this summer? I just found out a goth bakery is going to be opening up about 20 minutes away from us next month, so I'm probably going to be visiting that. And, as always, If you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.